खाने के पैसे नहीं थे, लेकिन ड्रीम्स ये थे। और एक पल बाद आपको पता चलता है कि दुनिया इतनी बुरी है, राइट? एक्सपीरियंसेस। शायद मैंने 1-2 दिन से खाना नहीं खाया था, इतनी भूख लगी थी। मैं एक लेडी को देख रहा था, शी वाज फीडिंग हर चाइल्ड। उस लेडी ने अपने हस्बैंड या किसी आदमी को बुलाया, बट वो आदमी आया मेरे पास और सीधा मारने लगा। तो माई मॉम यूज्ड टू टेल मी ओनली वन थिंग, तू एक दिन बड़ा आदमी बनेगा। एंड आई यूज्ड टू टेल हर हाउ, ये कैसे होगा? तो शी यूज्ड टू से कि तुम बस एक चीज याद रखना, किसी को चीट मत करो, किसी का बुरा मत करो और मेहनत से काम करते रहो, तुम एक दिन बड़े आदमी बनोगे। What motivated me at that time? Hunger. जब आपके पास कुछ है ही नहीं, आप ये नहीं सोचते हो कि ये काम सही है मेरे लिए, मुझे पसंद आएगा या नहीं। Your beggars can't be choosers. Learn to pivot. There is nothing wrong. You failed in what you tried to do so far. First accept it. Right? अगर आपका फेलियर भी हुआ है तो भी no problem. I look for people who have the passion to do something with the knowledge they have. And you got to change your life today according to the future. The future is not going to change according to you. In future, don't be surprised that your child is going to sit down and is going to learn from a robot. If I make a statement today on your podcast, this is the first time I might be making this statement. The whole world will become vegetarian. Don't believe me, right? Let me tell you how.
How can I get a job? I don't have the qualification. How can I have my own startup? I'm just a homemaker. How can I invest? I don't even earn enough. In today's world, it feels like everyone has a reason why they can't pursue their dreams. The world is full of people justifying their position with a list of excuses. But today, we have someone with us who's lived it and proved those excuses wrong. This story might sound like something out of a movie, but it's completely real. While many of us hesitate because of our circumstances, he had nothing. No home, no meals, no roof over his head, and spent his teenage years sleeping on railway platforms. Instead of giving in to those hardships, he took on every job he could find, even if it meant working as an office boy or a restaurant waiter. He didn't make excuses. He got a job at Yellow Pages and eventually moved to Just Dial, where he played a crucial role in the company's growth, from a startup to a publicly listed entity. Today, he's not only a successful entrepreneur, but also a respected angel investor. He believes in investing in people and has mentored numerous young entrepreneurs. Beyond his business achievements, he is passionate about giving back to the community at large. Yes, I am talking about the one and only Mr. Rajesh Dembla, founder Zoozle. Welcome to Ask the Expert series by JAIN Online.
Thank you, Seema. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
It's an honor, sir.
Yeah, likewise for me. I've been a big fan of what the JAIN group of institutions has built. The way Mr. Chenraj Jain has gone about building this institution is so commendable. It's just surreal to be here. Thank you so much.
So just as I mentioned in your intro, you have this story which is just out of a movie plot. जैसे कोई picture से निकाला गया है. You know, this guy in his teenage years living on railway platforms for like months together. How was it, sir? I mean, if you can share that story of yours with our viewers. I know you've done this a zillion times, but there are many, many young minds that will be inspired with this story. And what those struggles, how have they shaped your life journey, sir?
So first and foremost, I would like to just tell you that it's not easy to be in that position. It's not easy for anybody, right? Probably at that point of time, I did not realize. I was very young. I was hardly 15, 16. I'm very happy that I went through those hardships at that early years of my life because it was easier to then rise from there. But it was very, very tough. I have spoken about it in many of my podcasts and interviews. I have seen the best and the worst of humanity, you know, on that railway platform. वहाँ पे ना पूरी जिंदगी आपको आंखों के सामने ऐसे अनफोल्ड होती है कि एक पल में लगता है कि इससे बेटर जिंदगी नहीं हो सकती, इतने अच्छे लोग हैं दुनिया में, और एक पल बाद आपको पता चलता है कि दुनिया इतनी बुरी है, राइट?
Why do you say that, sir?
अबे एक्सपीरियंसेस, जैसे मैंने एक एपिसोड के बारे में बात किया हुआ है पहले भी, स्पेशली जब मैं बहुत भूखा था उस दिन, तो शायद मैंने 1-2 दिन से खाना नहीं खाया था, इतनी भूख लगी थी। एग्ज़ैक्टली याद नहीं है कि वो इमोशन क्या था मेरा उस वक़्त, राइट? मैं एक लेडी को देख रहा था, शी वाज़ फीडिंग हर चाइल्ड। एक टिफ़िन बॉक्स था, तो शायद मैं उस खाने को देख रहा था। उस लेडी ने अपने हस्बैंड या किसी आदमी को बुलाया, तो मुझे लगा कि, और मेरे को ऐसे दिखा के बुलाया कि 1 सेकंड के लिए तो बहुत खुशी हुई थी। आई रिमेंबर दैट वन मोमेंट एज़ माय इट स्टक हियर। द रीज़न फॉर दैट इज़ बिकॉज़ फॉर दैट मोमेंट आई वाज़ सो हैप्पी कि यार किसी ने तो मेरे को नोटिस किया, शायद खाना मिलेगा। बट वो आदमी आया मेरे पास और सीधा मारने लगा, राइट? आई गॉट अ स्लैप एंड आई वाज बीटन। फिर उसके साथ में 1-2 और आदमी थे, वो आए एंड दे स्टार्टेड बीटिंग। एंड मैं तो बस आई वाज जस्ट क्राइंग एंड सेइंग कि क्यों मार रहे हो मुझे, राइट? क्या गलती किया मैंने? दे सेड कि नजर लगा रहे हो, कि बच्चे के खाने पे नजर लगा रहे हो, हमारे बच्चे की तबीयत खराब हो जाएगी। थैंक्स टू, नाउ दिस इज द वर्स्ट पार्ट ऑफ ह्यूमैनिटी, राइट? वहीं पे कुछ अच्छे लोग भी थे जो आके उन्होंने उनको रोका कि बस यही है बेस्ट एंड वर्स्ट ऑफ ह्यूमैनिटी। एक एपिसोड है ये मेरे जिंदगी का, ऐसे बहुत सारे एपिसोड्स हैं, बहुत बहुत सारे, जिनके बारे में मैं बात कर चुका हूँ, जिनके बारे में मैं बात नहीं किया हूँ। लेकिन वो 5 से 6 साल मेरे जिंदगी के ऐसे थे, दिमाग में 2 चीजें चलती थी। वन वॉज वाई मी, कि ये क्या हो रहा है मेरे साथ, मैंने क्या किया। दूसरा था कि इवन इन दैट सिचुएशन में रात में रेलवे प्लेटफॉर्म पे बैठा हूँ, ठंड है, बैंगलोर की ठंड उस समय आपको पता है कैसी होती थी। मैं आसमान में देख के डे ड्रीम कर रहा हूँ कि मैं एक बहुत बड़ा एंटरप्रेन्योर बनूंगा। उस समय एंटरप्रेन्योर वर्ड नहीं पता था, बिजनेस, राइट? मुझे बिजनेस करनी है, राइट? मैं बहुत अमीर आदमी बनूंगा, मेरे पास बड़ी गाड़ी होगी, लंबी गाड़ी है, मतलब और मैं अमेरिका जाऊंगा, मैं लंदन जाऊंगा। खाने के पैसे नहीं थे, लेकिन ड्रीम्स ये थे। मैनिफेस्टेशन का पता नहीं। आई रिमेंबर माई मॉम टेलिंग मी, व्हेन शी वाज अलाइव, तो माई मॉम यूज्ड टू टेल मी ओनली वन थिंग, कि तू एक दिन बड़ा आदमी बनेगा। एंड आई यूज्ड टू टेल हर, मम्मी ये क्या, हाउ, ये कैसे होगा, राइट? हमारे पास तो कुछ है ही नहीं, बड़ा आदमी तो छोड़ो, मतलब। तो शी यूज्ड टू से कि तुम बस एक चीज याद रखना, किसी को चीट मत करो, किसी का बुरा मत करो, और मेहनत से काम करते रहो, राइट? तुम एक दिन बड़े आदमी बनोगे।
Wonderful.
It was all bouncers for me, but ठीक है, thanks to a lot of the right things that went right in my life, I'm here.
Awesome.
Right.
Such an incredible story, sir. I've also heard you say that you picked up every job that came your way, be it that of an office boy or I think a waiter at a restaurant, many other odd jobs. I'm sure, the struggles would have been real and very difficult to navigate through them. So what motivated you, sir, at that point of time कि मुझे ये क्यों करना है? What was that jazba, if I say, or that, that passion or that zeal to move forward? Because eventually I know you entered into a corporate and then of course, started your own company, which is something, again, people can't dream of when they literally have nothing. So how is it?
What motivated me at that time? Hunger.
Basically, yeah.
जब आपके पास कुछ है ही नहीं, राइट? और आपको, मतलब आपको अपना पेट भरना है, अपनी माँ का, अपनी बहन का पेट भरना है, तो आप ये नहीं सोचते हो कि ये काम सही है मेरे लिए, मुझे पसंद आएगा या नहीं। योर बेगर्स कांट बी चूजर्स।
True.
राइट?
Absolutely.
तो जो मेरे को नौकरी मिलती थी, जो काम मिलता था, जहाँ से कुछ पैसा कमाने का मौका मिलता था, मैं वो करता था। कोई ऐसा प्लान नहीं था कि मैं वेटर बनूं या फिर मैं फाइबर ग्लास फैक्ट्री में काम करूं या फिर मैं गारमेंट फैक्ट्री में काम करूं। मैंने ऐसे ऐसे जॉब्स किए हुए हैं कि शायद मैं हर इंडस्ट्री को थोड़ा बहुत जानता हूँ, राइट? तो सब काम किया हुआ है फॉर सेक ऑफ मनी। तो ऐसा नहीं था कि वो प्लान किया था, या फिर इट वाज नॉट मोटिवेशन, दैट ओनली मोटिवेशन वाज हंगर, राइट? तो जब आपके पास अगर हंगर है, आपके मतलब आप अच्छे फैमिली से भी आते हो। आज के मैं बच्चों की बात कर रहा हूँ। इफ यू आर लिसनिंग टू दिस पॉडकास्ट, यू कम फ्रॉम अ वेरी गुड फैमिली, यू हैव अ लॉट ऑफ मनी, you have a lot of comforts. Even then, the only thing that will make you successful is hunger. No amount of knowledge is enough. no amount of money is enough to become hugely successful. What is really required is hunger plus passion and discipline to do something, like your life depends on it.
Right.
वो तब जाके बनता है कुछ, अदरवाइज तो फिर आप वो फैशनेबल स्टेटमेंट्स कर रहे हो कि मैं अब ये करने वाला हूँ, मैं वो कर रहा हूँ. यू गॉट टू राइज अबाउट दैट.
वो superficial हो जाता है.
Right.
Awesome. Sir, this is about your initial years, but now that you are an angel investor, you're going out there and helping a lot of people. I've heard a lot of these investors talk, that we don't just invest in businesses. We invest in people, we invest in founders. What makes them say so, sir? Because I also know that you also hold this belief. Yeah. It is important to invest in the founders. I mean, what is that, you go and identify, these are the qualities that I'm looking at, and, ये एक investable इंसान है, person है. So that is something that I think a lot of people are actually wanting to know, sir.
Yeah. So it's for me, it's very simple. Okay. I look for a few things in a person.
Okay.
I look for honesty. I look for integrity, right? कि अगर वो बंदा मेरे को या बंदी मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि they are not putting up a show just to impress, right? They're serious about what they're doing. Second thing that you look for is, do they have the capability? कि अगर आप एक फाउंडर बनना चाहते हो, एक आइडिया को लेके आप उसको बिल्ड करना चाहते हो, तो क्यों करना चाहते हो? What is your capability that you will be able to succeed? Right? तो मैंने बहुत बार ये एग्जाम्पल दिया हुआ है. मेरे को लोग आके बोलते हैं मैंने 15 साल मीडिया में काम किया है, अभी मैं थक गया हूँ, तो आई वांट टू डू समथिंग डिफरेंट एंड आई एम गेटिंग इनटू AI बेस्ड मेडिकल सर्विसेज. भाई अगर आपका कोई लेना देना ही नहीं है इस इंडस्ट्री से, तो मैं आपके ऊपर क्यों पैसा लगाऊंगा, राइट? सो आई लुक फॉर पीपल कमिंग फ्रॉम अ सर्टन बैकग्राउंड and wanting to build something based on their experience. Okay. Or if they've had certain failures, I'm okay with it. A failed entrepreneur is not bad, right? अगर आपका failure भी हुआ है तो भी no problem. But I look for people who have the passion to do something with the knowledge they have, right? And then I also look for, I have subtle questions, right? I ask them कि, what is your moonshot? आपको ultimately क्या चाहिए, right? A lot of them come and tell me कि sir हम तो एक unicorn बना रहे हैं. The first thing I want to do is I want to walk away, right? क्योंकि आज जितने यूनिकॉर्न्स हैं ना, उनको भी नहीं पता था कि वो यूनिकॉर्न बनाने वाले हैं, राइट? तो जब आप शुरू करते हो, आपका एक ही गोल होना चाहिए कि वो गोल है कि मेरे को मेरा प्रोडक्ट या मेरा सर्विस या मेरी टेक्नोलॉजी मेरे को इतनी अच्छी बनानी है कि जो पहला इंसान उसको यूज करेगा उसका लाइफ का एक प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो रहा है, राइट? उसके लिए वो यूजफुल है. वहां से आप बिल्ड करो ना, राइट? फिर पता नहीं कितने आपके प्रोडक्ट को 1000 लोग यूज करेंगे, लाख करेंगे या करोड़ करेंगे, वो तो बाद में पता चलेगा ना. तो यूनिकॉर्न जो बनाने के लिए मेरे पास आते हैं कि हम बनाएंगे यूनिकॉर्न, आई वेरी पोलाइटली वॉक अवे आफ्टर दैट, कि हाँ, यू कैन ड्रीम, आई एम नॉट अगेंस्ट योर ड्रीम, बट यू आर ड्रीमिंग एट अ रॉन्ग टाइम अबाउट द रॉन्ग थिंग.
But sometimes does this happen, sir, that, you've taken this tough decision. Okay, this is the founder that I need to back. But maybe later you face these self-doubts. You're like, ye sahi kiya, maine nahi kiya. And then you'll have to navigate through those challenges. And, have you had this kind of an experience? And what has been your entire learning out of this, sir?
Every day. It's a daily thing. And if you ask me, or if you ask any person who's invested, whether he's an angel investor, seed investor, whether he is a venture capitalist, or whether he's a private equity player, except for maybe large venture capital firms and private equity firms, who only invest at a late stage, right? Series B and later. Probably they may not have this. Even some of them will have it. But before that, okay, everybody will have this situation that you've taken a punt, you've decided to invest on somebody, and you see that things are not working out that way. A year later, sometimes 6 months later, sometimes 3 years later, you realize that, you've backed a person. I'm not saying he's a wrong person.
Correct.
I'm not saying that he has done the wrong thing. You backed a person and it's not gone the way you wanted it to go, right? How do you deal with it? I mean, if you're an investor, you've got to accept it. If you invest in 10 companies maybe one company will do well.
Right.
Okay, 2 or 3 companies will be average. 5 or 6 companies will fail, fold up, and your money is going to go. Right? If you're not ready to lose money as an investor in the startup ecosystem, do not invest in it at all.
Right.
Right? And I always tell all my friends, I mean, many people come to me today, कि राजेश जी आप जहाँ इन्वेस्ट करते हो हमको वहाँ इन्वेस्ट करना है यू नो मैं बोलता हूँ भाई मुझे माफ करो मैं आपको जहाँ मतलब ये समझना है कि आपके पास अगर 100 रुपए हैं टोटल ठीक है और वो 100 रुपए में आप अगर 5 रुपया you're ready to lose,
right,
you know, that is 5% of your overall portfolio, you're ready to completely write off, so then you might want to invest that 5 rupees.
But how do you deal with that, sir? I mean,
how do I deal with it? I be very candid. मैं तो सीधा मुंह पे बोलता हूँ कि don't follow me, right? I have my reasons to invest, okay? और मेरा invest करने का एक बहुत बड़ा reason है because I am getting educated every day. आपको पता है I have very less education, in fact almost nil. तो मेरे लिए आज भी education, I am 55 years old, but I am still getting educated. Unlike your students at USDC or at JAIN, they come to a college and somebody is teaching them.
right,
I am still learning from every entrepreneur.
correct,
Right? मैं उनके business ideas से सीखता हूँ, उनके passion से सीखता हूँ, और many a times they surprise me with their worldview.
lovely,
Right? So for me, investing is because I am learning. But I tell my friends, if you're coming to invest with me, not with me, you're investing in companies where I am investing,
right,
probably you are looking at it from greed, कि मेरे को पैसा 10 गुना बनाना है. तो greed का ना 2 फेस होता है, या तो वो 10 गुना बनेगा, which is 1 in 100 chance, 99% वो आपका पैसा डूबेगा.
correct,
Right? So I discourage anybody. Till date, I have never made any friend invest in any of the companies unless and until I am 1000% sure that this is fine. No. So that's the way I deal with it.
40 plus companies, sir, you have invested in, or more than that?
So between direct and indirect investments, there are some, maybe more than that.
Wow.
Some of them have actually gone on to become publicly listed companies. Some of them have become in the these days the terms that are being used, unicorns, unicorns, मेरे को पता भी नहीं था, fancy words हैं, ठीक है. Yeah, I mean, and some of them are very, very large companies, today. Many of them have passed the Series B, stage. Some of them are almost, national brands. I have been lucky as well. Because many of those punts have become good for me.
Right. So now coming to startups, it's the word right now in our country. It's buzzing, and I think thanks to shows like Shark Tank India, it's become a dinner table conversation. And from time to time, we have seen different industries boom. There's a trend, there is a wave, like it was the digital boom, and then of course we had e-commerce and fintech, edtech. So according to you, what is the next big thing?
Seema, it's a very interesting question. So I'll talk a little bit about the future.
Right.
You're talking about fintech or edtech. I think both of the industries are almost dead. So let me actually rephrase it. When I say when it's dead, what I mean is the way these businesses are being run, it's dead.
Got it.
Okay? The industry is not dead.
Right.
In fact, if you look at the world in 2030 and in 2035, okay, we'll just talk 10 years. The world will look like a completely different planet. This planet won't look the same to you. What's happening? You guys are in the education business. So let's talk about education a little bit. The robotics and AI combination is going to replace the cost of a tutor.
Wow.
Okay. So in future, don't be surprised that your child is going to sit down and is going to learn from a robot.
So the teaching becomes obsolete.
Absolutely, So that is one thing, right? If you look at the future, now, why I'm talking about the future so much is because everyone who's listening to this podcast, okay, if you do not adapt to that future today, okay, 10 years later, you will be left behind in the race.
Right.
Okay, I'm not scaring you, okay? I am not scaring you, I'm just stating facts which is going to change. For example, labor, factories. If you are planning to set up a factory, if you're already running a factory and you are using labor as in humans,
Right.
you've got to change. Okay, robotics will replace labor that is repetitive. You don't need humans to do those jobs.
Right.
Those menial jobs we don't need to do anymore, right? Robotics is going to replace so many jobs. Okay, AI is going to replace so many jobs. For example, every day I meet junior and mid-level software engineers, and they come and ask, what's my future? And I'm sorry, there is no future, right? As of today, probably 50 to 60% of coding can be done using AI. You don't need a coder. You don't need a software engineer.
True.
At this moment, junior and mid-level. In 5 years from now, probably, right?
The top level is also.
We are talking about entertainment industry in the future, right? Now, today, since entertainment, the way content is getting generated, the way music is getting generated, आज से 5-7 साल बाद ये completely change होने वाला है. It will become personalized. For example, आपके पास इतनी capability होगी using AI कि every listener may be able to listen to what you've created in a different way depending on what they want to hear. So your content creation will be personalized. That is AI coming for you, right? Even teaching, I'm going back to teaching. Today what happens is there is a teacher, like I'm talking right now, everybody is listening to me, everybody is listening to the same thing.
Correct.
Right? It's of no use because if there are 50,000 people listening to us right now, okay, each one's needs are different. Right? Each one's ability to understand is different.
Right.
So in future, okay, teaching itself will become personalized, and from person to person it will get personalized, and that's the power of AI.
Brilliant.
Okay, and that's coming in 5 to 10 years. I mean, it's not even like 50 years away. Now, if you are a student today, if you're 20 years old, if you're 30 years old, the first question in your mind should be, okay, for the next 15, 20 years, what should I do? Or whatever I'm doing today, what should I stop doing? What should I change to? अगर ये आपके दिमाग में है तो सही सोच रहे हो. अगर आप ये सोच रहे हो कि नहीं नहीं मैं जो कर रहा हूँ वही सही है, राइट, मैं यही करता रहूंगा और जिंदगी, तो आपका फ्यूचर शायद बहुत ब्लीक है.
Because world is just accelerating at a super,
right? When you speak about accelerating, आज हम बैंगलोर से न्यूयॉर्क जाते हैं फ्लाइट में, तो कम से कम 12-15 घंटे की फ्लाइट होती है. राइट. आने वाले कुछ सालों में मैक 5 प्लेन्स होंगे. मैक 5 प्लेन्स यानी कि आप 4-5 घंटे में पहुंच जाओगे न्यूयॉर्क. राइट. आप सोचिए कि आपकी जिंदगी क्या होने वाली है. राइट. आप आज ड्राइवर्स हैं बहुत सारे घरों में, आपके घर में भी कोई ड्राइवर होगा. ड्राइवर का जॉब होगा ही नहीं फ्यूचर में. ऑल कार्स विल बी ऑटोनोमस. राइट. तो ये ड्राइवर्स क्या करेंगे. राइट. और आपको फ्यूचर सिटीज को अगर देखोगे, फ्यूचर सिटीज की प्लानिंग कंप्लीटली डिफरेंट होने वाली है. ये ट्रैफिक जैम्स वगैरह, इट्स नॉट गोइंग टू रिमेन. ओके, इट विल गेट सॉल्व्ड. देयर आर सो मेनी प्रॉब्लम्स व्हिच द वर्ल्ड इज टॉकिंग अबाउट. मैं इस पे एक बात बोलूंगा. देयर आर people who say कि lithium ion batteries, lithium is a limited resource, cobalt is a limited resource. The reality is there is resource, we just need to find it. And I think the world has, this planet Earth has unlimited resources, unlimited. Amazing. Okay, for the next 5,000 years the resources will not go out. We just need to find it. Using modern technologies and intelligence, we will be able to find all of it. So if you are 20 years old, 30 years old today and thinking what to do, understand, listen to what I'm saying, read about it. I'm not the only one who's saying this. Okay, the whole world is talking about it today, right? And you got to change your life today according to the future. The future is not going to change according to you. Okay, so this is a line I want you to understand.
That's an important point.
You have to change according to the future. The future is not going to change according to you. If you're not ready to adapt the future, okay, you are going to be irrelevant. Totally irrelevant. For example, if I tell you, if I make a statement today on your podcast, this is the first time I might be making this statement. The whole world will become vegetarian.
Wow.
Okay, don't believe me, right? So let me tell you this.
Yeah.
Let me tell you how. Technology of the future will create plant-based meat,
Right.
right? Which is going to be a lot more healthier without health problems. Okay, which will taste better than the meat people are eating today, but it is made of plants.
It exists, right? Sir?
What exists today
minuscule.
is the initial versions.
Right,
Okay,
right.
in 5 years from now, it's going to taste better than the real meat. It will be healthy. It won't cause the diseases that it causes, right? And
No global warming.
so many other problems will get solved. So people talk about AI is going to take away jobs. No, AI is going to change the job you're doing. Okay, AI is going to empower you to do better jobs, right? So if many people in my own family come and ask me, अरे AI आ गया अब तो ये हो जाएगा, so I say it's very simple. आप ना चिंता मत करो. 15 साल पहले WhatsApp नहीं होता था, right? तो जब WhatsApp आया तो लोगों ने बोलना शुरू किया कि अब तो ये खत्म, अब तो वो खत्म. कुछ खत्म नहीं हुआ ना. Our lives got better. Now each of us will adapt AI in our own way. Okay? And AI is going to make our lives better. Of course, jobs will go. Okay? But it will also create new opportunities. So if you are 20 or 30 years old, if you have a question in your mind कि मैं job करूं या मैं entrepreneur बनूं, होता है ना सीमा ये चीज.
Absolutely. I think that's a $1 billion question.
Right.
Yeah.
तो इसका मैं आपको मेरे हिसाब से मैं एक जवाब देता हूं कि इन फ्यूचर ना दुनिया में कोई जॉब ही नहीं होगा. शायद मेरे को लोग पागल समझेंगे जब मैं ये बोलूंगा. तो मैं आपको बोल रहा हूं व्हाट इज द फ्यूचर. द फ्यूचर इज यू आर आइदर एन एंटरप्रेन्योर और एन एंटरप्रेन्योर और एन एंटरप्रेन्योर. आपके पास कोई चॉइस ही नहीं है, राइट? आपको मैं क्यों बोल रहा हूं ये चीज, क्योंकि कंपनीज ऑल्सो अंडरस्टैंड okay that paying salaries, getting people to work for 8 hours a day, getting productivity out of them is going to get increasingly difficult. There is so much distraction. आज आप अपने ऑफिस में देखिए 8 घंटे की आप सैलरी दे रहे हो, उसमें से 4 घंटा तो वो बैठ के
रील स्क्रॉल कर रहे हैं,
राइट? तो this is from the company's point of view. Now look at it from your point of view. Okay, if you are like listening to me, look at it from your point of view. You work for a company, they'll give you a salary of 30, 40, 50,000, 1 lakh, right? But you could do multiple gigs as an entrepreneur, okay, and charge consulting fees, and you might be earning 3 times the amount.
Wow.
Right? So it is good for both. The future of the world is good for people who want to contribute, okay, as entrepreneurs. So the line I've always thought about for myself as the future of the world is either you are a entrepreneur in the true sense or you are a salaried entrepreneur, then only you have a future. यानी कि आप किसी कंपनी में भी हो तो भी आपका माइंडसेट जो है वो एक entrepreneur जैसे ही काम करना चाहिए.
Great perspective,
right?
there.
So that's what the future is.
I think this is one brilliant advice for all our young learners who are listening. So I mean, ये पर्सपेक्टिव से कभी सोचा नहीं था सर. This is incredible. सर जैसे हम इंडस्ट्रीज की बात कर रहे हैं तो वी ऑल्सो नो दिस दैट यू नो यू हैव वेंचर्ड इनटू द ई-कॉमर्स इंडस्ट्री विद Zoozle, right? The name is very interesting, Zoozle. I mean, it's very catchy. And I know where it comes from. थोड़ा रिसर्च किया था मैंने आपके बारे में. So, but we also see that, you know, there's so much competition out there, or every other day there's this new e-commerce platform which is launched. So, how is Zoozle different? How does it stand out? And why should anyone, like a layman, choose Zoozle over any other platform?
Okay. Very interesting question. आपने नाम के ऊपर बोला तो आपको पता ही है. I have been a huge fan of Google, right? और जब हम नाम सोच रहे थे कि क्या रखना है तो हमने सोचा कि पहले तो Google is an inspiration, तो उसका नाम लेके उस पर कुछ खेलते हैं. तो हमने alphabets थोड़े बहुत खेला, मतलब we just played around with it and we got the name Zoozle. So we thank Google for that. We wish we become as big as Google or even a small speck. We'll be happy. But आपने जो बोला वो सही है. ये जो पूरी ई-कॉमर्स इंडस्ट्री है आज, Amazon, Flipkart, Zoozle, Meesho, everybody is going through a massive struggle. ठीक है? That struggle is कोई पैसा नहीं बना रहा है.
Okay.
Right? Nobody is making money in the e-commerce industry. The quick commerce industries come in with Blinkit and with Zepto and We did Dunzo at one
Dunzo.
point of time, and
Yeah.
Dunzo is now gone. With quick commerce, also nobody is making money,
Okay.
right? Now, this is the thing that's happening in the industry. So nobody is really making money either in e-commerce or in quick commerce.
Okay.
Everybody is acquiring customers,
Mm-hmm.
right? India has about 40 crore shoppers today, and it will become 50 crores or 60 crores in time to come. ये about 500 million shoppers हो जाएंगे online, okay? तो ये 500 million shoppers में से जो वो we want, all of us want a small piece of their, you know, wallet,
Right.
right? हम सब चाहते हैं कि हमसे कुछ खरीद लो,
True.
तो हमारा business भी बहुत बड़ा बन जाएगा, right? And that's the truth. Quick commerce is, nobody in the world expected that quick commerce will be accepted so well in India.
Right.
I think hats off to Dunzo for setting the tone.
That, yeah.
Now hats off to Zepto and hats off to Blinkit and Swiggy
Right.
for what they are doing. Okay?
But Dunzo kind of became a household name. So Dunzo kar lete hain.
Yeah. Unfortunate hai. I was probably one of the earliest and the first
Founder.
investors, right? और वो उस कंपनी का लास्ट वैल्यूएशन भी 7,000 करोड़ से ऊपर गया था एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम. इट्स नॉट वाव एनी मोर टुडे कंपनीज लाइक Zepto valued at much more than $5 to $7 billion. Okay, we know what Blinkit is valued at, and it's listed.
Right.
So we know the numbers. I don't need to give you those numbers, right? 7,000 crores was no big deal. Okay, and but Dunzo, if it had continued on the right path with the right support, probably today it would be around 30,000-40,000 crores, right? But it's okay. I mean, if you allow me to use this term, shit happens.
Absolutely.
Everything can't just remain the way it is. So yeah, we all, I didn't make money out of Dunzo at all. I lost everything. So did everybody else, right? So am I feeling bad? A lot of people ask me, are you feeling bad about it? I'm not. I mean, had I made a lot of money out of Dunzo, I would have been happy. If I didn't, it's okay. We'll make somewhere else. There are many more.
How easy or difficult is it to bounce back? So,
in my case, I come from no food for many days. I slept on the railway platform. Bounce back is something which is my first nature. Okay. Now, second thing is, money. I have never understood this money-minded, thought process. Money is important. Money helps you to do certain things. Basics are met. The rest is something that most people leave it and go over here. Nobody's taken it.
True.
Okay, 90% of the people, 95% of the people who die have so much more bank balance than they ever spent in their life. Right? According to me, it is stupid. If you can't enjoy your money, okay, and you want to leave it for the next generation, and in the next generation, मैं आपको एक joke बोलता हूँ, okay, is that somebody who made a lot of money leaves that money, he thinks I'm leaving it for my children. Okay, but the ones who enjoy is probably like the children and their spouses and their friends. Right? तो इससे अच्छा है कि आप भी खुद enjoy कर लो, holidays कर लो, buy what you want to buy and stuff like that. This is anyway my thought process. Coming back to, we were talking about e-commerce and quick.
Right.
So the industry is going through a massive shift. Okay, हमने recently पढ़ा था news में कि Amazon is cutting down expenses.
Correct.
They are moving offices from World Trade Center to some other place because their rents are going to be lower. This is what I read. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. Okay, so if Amazon is feeling the pinch, so you can imagine what's happening in the industry.
Absolutely.
So that is the benchmark, right? Yeah. Now, where does Zoozle stand over here? Our philosophy is very simple, Seema. Zoozle is a horizontal e-commerce marketplace.
Okay.
I don't have a single warehouse. I don't keep a single product in my warehouse. I don't have inventory. I am a pure marketplace. So somebody who's selling the product from anywhere in India, okay, I sell it on Zoozle if they want me to sell it. We have very stringent policies. We only take sellers that we really trust.
Right.
Okay. But we are not e-commerce in the true sense. We are not quick commerce in the true sense. I joke with my team internally that we are slow commerce. Okay. So I'll tell you what does slow commerce mean. कि आपको कोई प्रोडक्ट चाहिए 10 मिनट में चाहिए तो प्लीज आप ब्लिंकिट जेप्टो से खरीद लो.
Right.
आपको एक दिन में चाहिए आप Amazon फ्लिपकार्ट से खरीद लो. लेकिन आपको सबसे सस्ता चाहिए इंडिया में, तो आप Zoozle से खरीद लो। वो
Wow.
4 दिन बाद आएगा, राइट? आपको अगर फर्क नहीं पड़ता है,
है।
अगर आप इंटेलिजेंट हो तो आप समझ जाओगे,
Right.
राइट? अगर आपको वो 4 दिन बाद आएगा तो आपको फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, लेकिन सस्ता चाहिए तो मेरे से खरीदो।
Amazing.
That is Zoozle, right? Now, in Zoozle also the way we want to take this business forward, okay, is very different. For example, we are a membership subscription based e-commerce platform.
Okay.
Okay, आप विदाउट सब्सक्रिप्शन Zoozle से खरीदना चाहो खरीदिए,
Okay.
लेकिन हर प्रोडक्ट का प्राइस जो है विदाउट सब्सक्रिप्शन आपको मोर और लेस Amazon, फ्लिपकार्ट के इक्वल मिलेगा।
अच्छा।
लेकिन अगर आप मेरे मेंबर बनते हो, जो पहले साल के लिए आपके लिए फ्री है,
अच्छा। Okay.
1 साल मेंबरशिप फ्री है, तो आप अगर मेंबर बनते हो तो आपका प्राइस Amazon से भी बेटर हो सकता
Oh,
है।
wonderful. That's
Okay.
nice.
आपको मैं 4-5 एग्जांपल अभी दे सकता हूँ, जैसे बातला लैडर्स हैं।
हाँ।
5,000 रुपए की लैडर आपको Amazon पे 5,000 की मिल रही है, शायद मेरे पास आपको 4,500 में मिलेगी अगर आप मेंबर हो तो।
Oh, okay.
राइट? सो ऐसे मेरे पास हजारों प्रोडक्ट है, राइट? दैट इज Zoozle.
These are daily needs.
Exactly. What we are launching in the coming days is even more interesting. Okay, 2 things I want to talk about. We're launching air tickets
Oh,
on Zoozle.
wow.
We will sell you tickets cheaper than Make My Trip and Go Ibibo or
Interesting.
even Ease My Trip and stuff like that. We'll give you tickets cheaper if you're a member. राइट? आपको यहाँ से लंदन की टिकट चाहिए रिटर्न, राइट? तो आपको अगर कहीं और पे 70,000 की मिल रही है तो मेरे पास भी वो 70,000 की टिकट है, लेकिन आप अगर मेरे मेंबर हो तो आपको शायद 1,000-2,000 कम में मिल जाएगी, राइट? और अगले साल मेरे मेंबरशिप की फीस है, इट्स ओनली 1,000 रुपीज, राइट? ईयरली मेंबरशिप इज जस्ट 1,000 रुपीज. So we hope that, now this is where I'm using the word hope. We hope that India will be kind to Zoozle. We are an Indian company.
Nice.
Right? We don't have any foreign funding. We are working very genuinely for the Indian consumer to give you the best products at the best prices. Right. I can't give it to you as fast as Amazon or Flipkart or as fast as even Blinkit but I can give you pricing that no one else can give you for the same product. I'm not going to tell you ki let's say for example I'll give you a similar product. No, I will give you exactly the same product, same brand, same model, koi farak nahi hoga, same seller, right? But you have to be my member. That's one thing. Air tickets we are launching in a few weeks. The other thing that we are launching is a very interesting offline concept. Okay, we are becoming omni-channel shortly, and we are starting with coffee outlets. We are taking filter coffee across India. Wow. My goal is to set up 5,000 filter coffee outlets on which we will build an offline capability to sell products. Okay, so it will get franchised. The first 5 stores will be company owned and then it will get franchised. So this is where we are going. And many people built coffee brands already. Right. Okay, but these coffee brands are aping what Starbucks does. Correct. So you will get Americano, you will get cappuccino. I mean, that's westernizing it. That's not our DNA. No, I want to take South Indian filter coffee across India first. Wonderful. Right? I'll give you Madras filter coffee, I'll give you Mysore filter coffee, and I will give you fantastic nibbles with it to eat. There, I will make that experience very modern. Wow. Okay, but the food and the drink is going to be Indian, and we are going to be 100% vegetarian. Okay. Never we will sell any meat. No alcohol, no cigarettes. Incredible. That's Zoozle for you. That's what we are trying. We pray to God. We ask you for your help. As consumers, help us because an Indian company wants to grow and fight these global giants. Absolutely. That's absolutely. So, sir, I have heard a lot of founders say that Indian customers are not brand loyal. They are price sensitive. So, from a customer's point of view and also from a brand perspective, what are your thoughts on it? And what can a brand actually do to, have that lasting loyalty with customers? Question is wrong, Seema. Okay. So I'll tell you something. The world is changing even here. Right. In the last 10 years, the number of D2C brands that have come, okay, and how easy it has become for you to launch a brand. Okay, maybe 15 years ago, 20 years ago, to launch a national brand was very difficult because you didn't get distribution. You didn't get shelf space. Correct. It was very expensive. You needed a lot of money. you needed muscle power.
Mm-hmm.
Today you don't need anything. Okay, you can do a D2C brand sitting in any small town in India where your costs are so low, your operational costs are low, okay, and your manufacturing costs are low. You don't have too much of overheads on distribution, etc. You're going direct to consumer, and that's a brand. And the young Indian consumer has arrived to say that I am not going to buy only the brands which my father bought or my mother bought. I am okay to buy a good D2C brand and try,
Right.
So that's one thing that's changed. So building an everlasting brand is going to be a million times more tough
Mm-hmm.
going forward. Even large giants who thought that we have a big brand and we cannot be moved are beginning to feel the earth, moving away
Moving
from
away,
them.
yeah.
So take an example of a brand. Let me give you an example of a brand, Samsonite.
Okay.
Okay, and everybody thought Samsonite is unshakable brand, right? Now look at what Mokhabara has done.
Done. Disrupted.
Disrupted it, right? Look at what Yumi is doing for them. Look at what Nasher Miles is doing for them. Look at what Shark Tank is doing to these brands, right? This is just one example. In food, right? There are so many examples. In wellness products, there are so many examples. Beauty products, there are so many examples.
Absolutely.
So I don't think it's the same as before. So the question, how can I build an everlasting brand? Probably you will have to start giving it free of cost to the consumer. Then only you'll be able to build it. That's one. Second thing is, you spoke about the Indian consumer not being loyal. Yeah, in most cases, they are price sensitive. They are loyal to the price.
Correct.
Okay. And it's not their fault. Right. Today, if you look at all e-commerce players and look at quick commerce players, everybody is trying to get them as a consumer and willing to give away everything.
Correct.
They are willing to burn money and give it to them at a cheaper price. So why should the consumer not take it?
Absolutely.
Right? Only when the industry realizes that this is not viable, will the consumer also become, behave differently. Right? So that is the situation. So yeah, I mean, it will remain like this. I don't think anything is going to change very soon.
There.
Yeah.
All right. So there is this wave that's happening, everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. We've seen that there are these, it's a very glamorized words these days. And there are these one set of people who just jump into it thinking, maybe because of fascination. And then we have these one set of entrepreneurs who are very passionate to the extent that they become delusional. Sometimes they do not understand. They're very rigid. They don't want to quit or pivot. So what would be your advice to them? So, I mean, how do they balance reality and ambition?
If you are a data-driven founder, your data will tell you whether you are moving in the direction you want to move or you don't want, or are you not moving in that direction. Listen to your data. And if you're not moving in the direction that you want to move, the first thing is to pivot.
Okay.
Pivot to a model or pivot to a product, okay? Or look at new markets where you will be accepted, but make the necessary change and do it fast. No point waiting and waiting and waiting. Having said that, the world's biggest companies have all pivoted at least 5 to 7 times.
Oh, okay.
So if you actually do a Google search, and I'm encouraging all of you to do a Google search on the world's biggest companies that pivoted more than 3 times, you will find names that will surprise you.
Okay.
Right? I don't want to go on to that right now because of lack of time, but it's a very interesting read. So learn to pivot. There's nothing wrong. You failed in what you tried to do so far. First accept it.
Correct.
That is the self-awareness. Okay, whatever we tried so far has failed. Very good. Let's accept it. Let's move on, change, pivot, or shut it down and do something else. Right? So today's world is all about that. Right? So yeah, I mean, I meet founders day in and day out. I tell them exactly the same. If things don't work, it's okay. You've tried. The fact that an entrepreneur tried is commendable.
Absolutely. So we've spoken about founders. Now let's come to businesses. When you are making a decision, where you would want to invest in a business, you're considering an investment. What are the top 3 qualities that you look in a business? And you feel like, there's this gut feeling which says, yeah, I need to back this idea. So what are those?
Okay. See, there are two types of businesses. First of all, let's divide. One is
Okay.
technology businesses, which are purely tech driven.
Right.
Okay. Or there are businesses like manufacturing, where there is a lot of dependency on land, machinery, people, and so on. Even their technology is required, but it's not a pure tech play, right? So whenever I look at a business, I am looking at how scalable is this business?
Right.
How easy is it to scale? Okay, you will build a great product, but if it is not easy to scale, okay, then it's
Not feasible. Yeah.
not a feasible model, right? I look at that scalability factor. I look at acceptability factor. Now, for example, if somebody comes and tells me, I've spoken about this earlier, I'm speaking about it. If somebody comes and tells me that I am launching a new product,
Okay.
okay, it is going to replace a toothpaste in the world. And it's going to be different. All you need to do is you stand in front of a object, and your teeth are going to be. Now, that's a damn difficult thing to do because it's a change of habit,
Right.
right? I wouldn't invest in a business at start in that kind of a business. But if somebody were to come and tell me that I'm launching a new toothpaste brand, all right, and the whole world uses toothpaste.
Correct.
Now, I know the market exists, I know the need exists. All that this guy needs to do is build a good product, good packaging, okay, and try and get a 0.001% of the market as a proof of
Perfect.
concept, and then slowly build from there on, right?
Alright.
I would invest in a business like that, right? So anything that is very difficult to change habit, I would avoid in my theory. But there are people who will invest in something like that.
Absolutely. One piece of advice, if you were supposed to give to all these young people out there who are starting their entrepreneurial journey, what would that be, sir?
Difficult to give one piece of advice, but I'll tell you what I would like to tell everybody who's starting their entrepreneurial journey is try your best. Make it your life's mission till you're doing this, that you will do everything to succeed in this. Acquire all the knowledge that you need to succeed in that business, and get all the right partners,
Okay.
that you need. You can't do it alone. Build a great team, build collaborations, and after you've tried your best, if you fail still, in spite of that, don't feel bad about it. Move on to the next one, right? If you succeed, don't succeed alone. Remember who all helped you, right, to be where you are, and be grateful, and share your success with all of them, including all the money you make.
I think giving back is one thing you've always believed in. So yeah, I think such a wonderful note to end on. But before we call it quits with this particular episode, I think there's this fun segment that we have for you, sir.
Okay.
I'd love to put you in a spot again.
Okay.
So let's get into this fun zone, sir. It's called a quick take, where the questions would be quick, and of course the take has to be humorous. All right, sir. So let's dive into our quick take segment. Dunzo or Decentro? One word to describe your feeling about investing in them.
Both. I love both the founders, great guys, and I love the teams that they built. So that's what about. But you're asking me to choose which one?
Yeah, I mean one word for both.
B2C, Dunzo, B2B, Decentro.
If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Live a little more. Don't worry too much.
Don't worry. Don't take yourself too serious. What are 3 booming industries for young entrepreneurs in the next 5 years?
Robotics.
Okay.
I'm not saying AI because AI is going to be part of everything.
Everything, right.
Right? So robotics, EV, auto, it'll definitely boom, but I don't know how easy it is. There's a big entry barrier. Food.
Food, okay, yes. What are your top 3 book recommendations?
I'm not a very big
Fan of reading?
no fan of reading, but say Marshall Goldsmith's book, What Got You Here Won't Get You There.
Yeah.
I have a bias because I met him, spent time with him. So that's one. The Alchemist.
The Alchemist,
will help you to not get stuck and move on. And the third one is, it's a very old book again. Actually, wait, I'm going to change the third one.
Okay.
My daughter is writing a book, and she's going to be releasing it in maybe, she's promised me that she'll release it on my birthday.
Oh, that's amazing.
Which is in September. The book is going to be called Don't Die Every Day.
Don't Die Every Day. Oh,
she's a child psychologist.
Okay.
So she is talking about emotions, and she's talking about it. I've already read some parts of it, so I have a bias. I love that.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Looking forward. What are your top 3 business movie recommendations? Do you watch movies, sir?
Hindi movie Guru
Okay.
is based on Dhirubhai Ambani's life story.
Right.
A lot of business lessons there.
All right. Would you rather focus on rapid growth and scaling or a sustainable long-term business model?
No question, sustainable long-term business. Yeah.
Would you rather excel at marketing and sales or product development and innovation?
When I am building the business, product development,
Uh-huh.
and at a later stage, marketing and sales.
Oh, that's smart. Would you rather face a major setback early in your business or later on when you have scaled?
Major setback, never.
Never. All right.
But if I have to choose, then early on. Early on. Yeah.
All right. So now this is the this or that segment. Interesting one. Zomato or Swiggy?
North Indian food, Zomato, South Indian food.
Zerodha or Grow?
I don't want to choose.
So you're not getting
but
the hamper.
I can't get away with it, is it? Zerodha.
Zerodha. Okay. Paytm or PhonePe?
PhonePe.
Ola or Uber?
Ola. Indian at heart.
Absolutely. Dunzo or Zepto?
Emotionally Dunzo, but actually Zepto is way ahead.
Killing
so
it.
yeah.
Cred or Slice?
Neither.
Neither. Flipkart or Amazon India?
Flipkart.
Flipkart.
By the way, I don't know if you know, Flipkart is way bigger than Amazon in India.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it is at least about 3 times bigger than Amazon.
All right. An Indian again. An Indian brand again.
Indian, of course. I mean, yes and no, but
All right. Yellow Pages or Just Dial?
any day, just dial.
Just Dial.
Any day.
Google or Zoozle?
Would love for Zoozle to become so big that we can buy Google.
Oh man. That's such a fun note to end on. So you've been such a sport. And I'm sure this particular series, it's going to be very, very inspirational for our learners. And I think there's been a lot of takeaways. So for anybody who's watching it, there can be a homemaker or students or entrepreneurs. It's been very holistic and very insightful. So it was an honor having you. And I'm sure we will connect again for more deeper conversations. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Seema. Thank you for having me. And thank you if you've listened to this podcast. Thank you so much for spending your time with me.
Thank you. Thank you very much.